Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the AI InterConnect Podcast. I'm your host, Laurent. On this show, we explore how founders think, not just what they built, but how they see the world shifting beneath them. Today, I'm joined by Darwin Mastin, founder and CEO of TwinWise. And TwinWise builds cognitive AI system focused on creative structured digital twins that go beyond surface level personalization. Darwin, thanks for being here. Very happy to have you on the show.
Absolutely, Ron. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Very techy words. I love this. Building cognitive AI system focus. Okay, let's start with your background. So listeners understand the path that led you here. You mentioned in our pre-conversation that you never written a line of code, yet you are building an AI company. That contrast is powerful. Darwin, did you how did your background led you to build TwinWise and step into AI as a founder?
It's a question I get all the time, and definitely one I'm happy
Yeah.
to talk through. As we say at TwinWise, and even during like the twin creation process, everyone has a career river. It's not really a path or a journey anymore. People go down lots of different pathways. And while I am not a software developer and I'm not a code writer, I think any AI CEO nowadays has to be technically minded and very product savvy. And those are things that I developed over my career and bring to the table. So by academic training, I'm a human behavior specialist. I worked within anthropology, psycholinguistics, cognitive development, evolutionary studies as well, and including aspects of computational linguistics, language learning models, the great great grandparents of our current LLMs. So different LLM back then. And then also, I worked in productizing behavior interventions when I was postdocing at Stanford. And so what that meant is I figured out different ways of working with families on grandparents, parents, and ways to impact their child's development. And we were able to make like strong causal impact on children's executive function. So like the biggest life predictor of success, we were able to show we could actually move that just by changing how people interact. And so being in the Bay Area, I made the natural progression over into tech since I was here doing my postdoc at the time. I went into UX strategy under GDPR compliance at Meta. So I spent many years there showing them how if you improve the user experience and you don't worry about the revenue, you could actually drive more revenue and make a safer and a better technology experience for people working not just in social media, but in technology in general. I worked through a few different sized companies from there as well. Most recently, I was at Intuit and Credit Karma, where I was working on UX strategy with automated finance. And that means just as generative AI came onto the scene as a publicly available product, that's where they pivoted to. I went into kicking off their entire prompt engineering team, the AI strategy discipline for a lot of the user applications of AI, and also kicked off my own AI coaching business at that time. That is Synaptic Spike, which is our parent company, which is no longer for AI coaching because I spent 10 years in tech proving to companies that users didn't need to change to successfully use their product. And here I was now starting to coach people on how to change to use a brand new technology and product. And, granted, that was highly useful. I worked with some executives, I worked with nonprofits, the Alzheimer's Research Institute in America. I worked with their teams as well, and introducing people to generative AI. So democratizing AI has always been a mission of mine since that started. Like technology gaps and digital literacy are things I think are extremely important and have to be tackled first. In a lot of ways, to even know how to use a new technology, you need to understand what it is and also what it is not. So I moved into saying, well, rather than trying to teach people how to change, let me zoom out and let me look at this, like, from that 30,000 foot level and see what's going on and what's missing from the system. And the industry started with, you had to prompt engineer to make a model do a certain thing or act a certain way. And then people started to talk about context engineering, which is really just advanced prompt engineering with documentation and like systems of information, not just instructions of information. But when you look at it, the number one context that no one decided to put into AI was the user. Like, who is this person on the other end? You go to an AI system, people type into it, and they magically expect it to understand exactly what they meant. Now, that's just not going to be possible. Like, what is a generative AI system? It's a prediction machine, right? It's just you put in all of your words, and it looks at those, and then it identifies what's the next word, and what's the next word, and the one after that. So one thing I always tell people first is AI is never answering your question. It's picking up where you left off. It is extending that thought further into an area that you hadn't been yet. Now, if it's going to be doing that, it needs to understand you. And Laurent, if we walk up to each other, at a networking event and we shake hands and I say, "Hi, I'm Darwin. I know." Can you finish my sentence at that point? No, but that's exactly what someone will go and type into an AI and expect it to understand exactly what they meant and where they needed to go and what type of interaction they were looking for off of those few words. And so what we've built at TwinWise and what we are building is cognitive AI. We map your mind, your mental architecture, and your reasoning as a professional, and we make that as an AI agent. We make your mind into an AI that you can use with every AI system. It is, we look at this as there was two entities here, but you really need three in order for human and machines to interact. So we use the third body problem as actually a third body solution. And so anytime that you interact with your twin, it knows what you mean and it interacts with the AI system, sends that information back, and then retranslates it to how you understand, how you learn, how you interact, but also how you assume, how you may misinterpret different information. Like your twin knows you on the good and on the less good, or as we like to say, the growth areas. And that's why a twin is amazing, not only as a tool, but as a thought partner, and also as a betterment tool and a development tool long term. Did that help?
I
know
love
that was-
I love it. That helps. Yeah, this is great. Okay, great beginning. What's interesting is that you're not positioning TwinWise as just another AI assistant. As you mentioned, you're defining a category difference. When then you explained it. You explain you explain it. Then you describe it in a certain way. Who do you serve, or who is it for?
So when we look at something like TwinWise, what we're doing in there, we have multiple verticals that are coming out. Our consumer version, so the individual people can be able to access our platform and go through our process and make their own twins starting at the end of this month. We'll be rolling that out with our soft launch. So any individual can make a twin. As we say, we map your professional self, but your professional self is the specialized knowledge and experience that you have. So anyone in the world, if you have experience, that's what you do every day, and you know how to do it very well, whether that's a rocket scientist at MIT, or if it's a mom who runs a daycare in middle America, you have knowledge and expertise that you have curated. That's what we map out. That's what we create a version of. Now, this is very, very useful for individuals for professional application, but your personal and professional life as a person nowadays is highly blended. And so for me and for my team, like we use our twins all day long, because we also have an enterprise, a business aspect where twins come together. So as an individual, I wake up, I turn on my twin, I click on what I need, and I get my like daily information update that's for my cognition. So I ask for a joke every morning, but it's not a dad joke. I hate dad jokes. My twin knows that. It gives me a high level brain teaser where I go, oh no, Laurent, I need another cup of coffee to figure this one out. Let me like go in and get started. It knows I appreciate a challenge in my day. I go to flip over and like get my news report, and the news is already read and curated for my position, my area of work, and also my region, but then also things I care about, my values, my community, all of those there, but not just here's the headline, but also the interpretation. So as somebody running a startup, being able to get a fast track of all the tech news and know exactly whether or not we have somebody else that's working in our space now, or somebody else who got a big grant that we may now have to compete against for other money. And my twin says, do this, read that, go over there. It helps give me that directionality. So for an individual, it's able to be that voice that, is inside your head that you can kind of hear a little bit and you want to like drag out when you're having a thought. But now it's in front of you and it's talking back and it's helping you pull that thought out and it's helping create that thought. But twin usage for individuals can expand beyond that, where we provide lots of different other types of personalized AI tools as well. Your twin is a version of cognitive AI, but there's all sorts of different ways that we can leverage parts of your cognition and make all aspects of that experience better. On a business sense, though, is where the aspect of a twin really becomes superpowered or different, or as I prefer to say it, in an interactive sense. Because when two different individuals have twins, and if you work in the same company where we have that, we apply our cognitive API and we bring those together. So let's say, you go on Slack to send me a message and I'm in a meeting. So it says on Slack, like, I'm not available. Well, guess what? You're going to get my twin instead. It's going to pop in there, answer that question, chat with you in that moment, but it's in our back and forth in our DM. So when I'm out of my meeting, I still see that you DM'd me. I still see that my twin responded. I still can confirm that. I could add other information if I need. And all of that's caught up. Now, here's where that's better. How much time do you think a business loses in just pure miscommunication between people? 20%. Every year of the last 5 years, this study again and again shows the same. Per business, for every employee, 1 day a week of productivity is lost. Any company is only operating at 80% efficiency because of human communication. So all those times where somebody reads something really quick and goes, oh, I know what it means, and walks away and does the opposite, that's lost business. All the times that somebody doesn't want to ask a question because they feel like maybe that will look like they don't know what they're doing yet, and they still do the wrong thing, that's lost business. In this aspect, let's say you were chatting with me and you sent me a Slack message and I'm like, oh, I'm not getting this right now. Laurent sent me a fast message. Something's lost in translation. And maybe it's because we're like come from different language backgrounds. Maybe it's just because you're writing a fast message and a word gets skipped or you miss a piece of context. I can click on that, send that message to your twin, who will interpret that to my twin, who will interpret that to me. And so no more is the time of like, what do you mean by that? It's more on I'm going to validate this is what you mean, and I'm going to go do that. And the ability to do that just to make sure you understand information, but also make sure you understand people. Like there's no more assume best intent. Assume the intent is work and find out what the intent is if you're unsure by clicking through and bringing up that other aspect. And that's been amazing. What we say inside is when in doubt, twin it out. If you don't know what somebody sent you or you're not really sure what's going on, and I mean, we have a remote team. I've got 10 people. We work all the time. We run really quickly, different time zones. You wake up and you have a message that somebody sent you late at night. They're tired. You don't really understand it. This is a very easy way to not make assumptions about what it is or not take something personally when it's not. It allows you to have a perspective that's just outside your lived experience. And so who is it for? I mean, we're solving part of the human condition, like the inability to communicate is the biggest problem. That also, then, when you have that, provides the ability to learn anything based upon who you are and the way that you learn. So everyone on my team, none of them came in understanding prompting. They can all prompt a system just as well as I can. And I sit and I look at prompts as like equations of logic, because that's how I was trained. That's why I'm able to interact with AI. And that's the code I write. I use language just like code. It's exactly like a language that a developer can use, except any single word or any single command you put in there may have 12 different meanings based upon the other commands around it. It's a cumulative coding language. And that's the problem. It's on another layer and layer of things that if you can't abstract that logic, it's just going to create a problem. So, do I write software code? No. Do I write AI code? Yes.
Okay. I love it. Awesome. Then, okay, then let's go to launching a company in AI right now means operating in a noisy and fast moving market. That creates pressure. Um, right now, what feels like the hardest part of building and preparing TwinWise for launch?
I think I think it's two things. One, as you said, it's a noisy environment. So coming up with an AI and an AI agent that is like you in your mind, we get all the other misconceptions. It's like, oh, how much of my data do you need? Guess what? None of it. We don't need any of your documents. We don't need any of your videos or transcripts. You are the source code. We do a 4-session process with you on your time, you and yourself answering questions, and we pull all of that together. So anybody else thinks, oh, well, it's just like every other chatbot. It's just like every other like AI clone. And it's not. It's not a clone, because a clone is created based on what you've already done. So all those documents you upload, those are the past decisions. Great. That clone can answer past decisions. It cannot answer a question it hasn't ever encountered yet. You are training it in a way to not be able to encounter the unexpected. That's why it's very hard to explain to individuals that we don't use your data, because that is actually a flawed method. And if you pause and you look back at every large AI company, they started with generative AI. And then they added in some customization, and then a memory system, and then a knowledge graph. And now you can add documentation, because that beginning point is not enough. It's the average. And it's very hard to explain to people the tool you're using right now is the average, and that's why it's bad. And the tool we're building is you. This is your mind and how you think right now. And with our proprietary processes, we know how to keep that up to date with you every step of the way. Your twin grows with you, learns with you, and changes with you as you do, but you are in control of that. So being able to explain to people that all of AI out there is a little bit wrong, and all the things they're asking for are very simply done in a slightly different way when they're the focus, that's like, it's a bit of a flip the script aspect. And then you always have people saying, well, how well can you know me in like 4 sessions of 45 minutes? I'm like, very, very well. And then people say, well, I don't have like 2.5 hours to spend with you. It's like, well, do you want your mind as AI or not? If
Yeah,
you want that, we have to
yeah.
invest some time. We're just going to. And we think you're worth that time. We think you are worth a movie date or watching the football game. Like, that's only 3 hours of your time. This is the time we want to spend with you. And creating a twin is as much a journey of self-discovery as it is just creating that twin, because we make you the center of everything. So being able to explain to people that this isn't just a chatbot and it really is an extension of who you are, that's taken some time. I have a great marketing team. They've gotten better and better at that as we go. And it's something that when we present it and we let people see what we're really going through and how that works, it starts to click. I think on the other aspect, as you say, it's a very fast moving environment. So opportunity cost is huge. Like any potential other startup, any large player could come in and start to move into a similar type of area. And you need to worry about that. But we do not let that change our timelines. We're a company that was built on privacy, security, and ethics before product. We're self-funded, so no investors are pushing us to do anything that we don't want to do right now. We are a company of ethicists. I hired legal, security, and ethics and cognitive engineering before we hired an architect for software. I've hired people that have 10 to 20 years experience within the field and people that have 2 or 3, but in the areas that count. And so when everybody else is moving fast and breaking things, they're also getting all the fallout. AI moves so quickly that when you can't live up to your promise, your user base is gone in a day. So
True.
that's happening more and more quickly. We're even seeing, what OpenAI put out 5.2 and now they go to 5.3 in less than a week because somebody doesn't like the tone.
Yeah.
That's a problem in a fast moving environment. When you don't have the ethics, you react and the reactions eventually don't pan out. We're building with intention. We're building quickly and agile, but we are building a secure system. We are building for EU compliance. We are building for HIPAA compliance on our first day.
Okay. Okay, I'm out of words. How is the is the biggest challenge? You said the product is not a challenge. I wanted to ask you: is the bigger challenge product, messaging, or market education? I think market education, but maybe all of the above.
I think it's a bit of both messaging and market education. I think we need to use the messaging to leverage market education. We need to be able to cut through all of the other preconceived notions in different ways. In that, I think one of the biggest disservices was that when generative AI hit the scene, those big companies and the media presented the possibility of it in a wrong way. The message became like, all of this is now for you and at your fingertips, where the message needed to be, everyone is now a builder. You all get to be a developer. You all get to create the future. And that comes with responsibility. But nobody decided to tell people when they're handed a machine that's a toy or fun, which is the way it was presented, because they didn't have a pure use case. There was no clear use case for generative AI. When you look, it's like, what is generative AI for? Fast words. Like, that's literally the thing, getting the next words
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
They didn't have a use case when ChatGPT was launched. That's why they've changed and added all these different things. And so when it comes down to how we market, the marketing and educating the market is important, especially if we're going to democratize AI. And that starts with our messaging. And our messaging can't be around hype. We want our messaging to be about people. And so even right now, as we've been discussing this week, as I said earlier, we give you lots of different tools, personal AI, personalized features and tools along your journey for TwinWise, because it takes that time. So we don't want you to log in and have nothing to do. And the first thing we do give you takes less than 10 minutes of your time. If you put in your resume and you answer 3 questions, just 3 questions for us, and we do everything out loud so that you can chat it out. Answer those, and in less than 2 minutes, we can design for you an AI tutor about AI and all the things you think you know but are wrong. And
Oh,
that's where we start. We start everyone on an aspect of like, no, there is a free lunch, there's a free dinner, there's a whole free weekend of everything and all those events. And we're going to start here because we want to show you what you can do. And unfortunately, the way media presented things means that people don't know exactly what they can do because they were given a short story and they weren't given a builder's toolbox. So we start on day 1. In that first moment, all you've spent is 10 minutes, and we can prove to you that we know you. And that's mapping one of the patterns that make up your mind. And your twin is over 20 of those different patterns. So we do believe in the messaging, but we stand behind it. We do give out free aspects. We do provide those lunches. We do provide that value. Your first 30 days with TwinWise, we don't charge you. It's about your discovery, your creation, and you're seeing that value. And we know that when people see that, there's not a problem in bringing them on board. Also, our prices are much lower than you might expect, but we'll save that for later.
I love it.
So, yeah, it's
Um,
messaging and it's marketing.
yeah. um, okay, then you're on the launch. How do you balance, or how are you balancing launch timing with other public appearance and marketing coordination?
It's not easy, that's for sure. And I think it's a lot of it is the team that I have. I would not be able to do this without the team that creates Synaptic Spike. All of our people, there's 10 of us that make up this group right now. Everybody is a founding team member. Everyone has an ownership stake in Synaptic Spike, the studio, not just in TwinWise, the product, in all of that. And so everybody comes to the table every single day with the same risk, the same types of reward, and the same inherent value that they already see, because everyone here has a twin they have had from day one. So even though we're 10 people, when we can combine all our twins, we're 100 entity workforce. It's only 10 of them have heartbeats. The other 90 are just there waiting for when we need it. But if it wasn't for my team and the great people behind me that help manage my schedule and our workflow and these appearances, you met Shai, my chief growth officer, who is awesome. And he only makes sure that, when we're spending time talking outside, it's not just talk time, it's like value time. And so without them, we wouldn't be able to do this in the way that we do. And if we didn't all have twins, like this company wouldn't exist. We founded for TwinWise not even a year ago. We're actually launching on our 1-year anniversary for our consumer, which is the end of this month. And it was not until October that anyone, including myself, worked full time. We all worked 1 day a week on our own time
Wow.
on weekends for 6
My
months.
God.
And we built our consumer product and launched our consumer beta and ran that only working 1 day a week. Because when you're able to get all the thinking done at 10x the speed and all of the early collaboration done asynchronously, our meetings were just execute, 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 and a few bits of alignment and a lot of learning. And when you get to spend that time together and you trust each other so much more, like this team is unstoppable. I can't wait to see what our second and our third products and ventures will be, because TwinWise has 5 verticals in it and they are all coming one after the other. So what we're going to see this year is just a taste of what this whole team can do over the next 5 years.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait to see tomorrow.
Well, we will.
That sounds.
We want to get you rolled in and started on our VIP process next week, Laurent. I hadn't told you. So if you're interested in the twin bit, we're going to be reaching out and we can start in on some of those with you. So give you a sneak preview.
It looks scary. Okay, I love it. From what I see across founders, many are racing towards scale without redefining architecture. From your vantage point, what shift in AI matters most right now, but it's still misunderstood?
So I think the biggest shift with AI right now is the move. Well, AI moved into agents and agentic workflow 20 months ago. That's how long like agents and agentic work has been around within prompt and context engineering and AI engineers. Like this isn't new stuff. It's new stuff that is hitting public and that people have access to it and that it's cheap and easy and direct in your fingers. So I think agentic AI and autonomous agents is a big aspect of what's going on right now. It's a big aspect of where people have a lot of hope and desire, but also a lot of fear. And I sit in the middle of those camps. When it comes to autonomous AI, I think companies are building that and launching that a year before we should be. I don't think we have all of the right setups and systems available for individuals and companies and governments to all be protective when there's autonomous agents. I do not think we
Right.
have that set up right. I would look directly to like the EU AI regulations around some of that, and that's where we look as well when it comes to safety. For twins and for TwinWise, we made the direct decision to not look at autonomy as an action. We are human-centric. We believe the human is the loop. Our products cannot exist without their human counterpart. Same way, vice versa. So for us, autonomy is something that we think about in a slightly different way of more, let's provide autonomy to some of the thinking, autonomy to some of the collaborative aspects. Don't restrict that twin to be only what you already do, but be able to like step just outside that. And so that's where we find that balance in letting the person have more freedom and ability to do the things that are out there for them to do, but the hindrance and the friction of just thinking things through being removed. So I think autonomous agents has a lot of value. I think when you move them outside of things that are on a back end or are part of like the assembly line, I think that's a problem. And I think that's where a lot of things are coming out right now. And it's a place that I hedge people to be cautious first and experiment second and try things out certainly, but try it out on a sandbox. Don't give away all of your logins and information for it to be able to go and like
Yeah.
run through all of your different accounts yet. Will we be at a place where you have that type of like personal agent assistant that you do trust? Yes. But I think AI is a trust building technology. And so you have to start from a place of usage to move into that. And people that have built AI for 3-4 years now, they do have that trust and they do trust in what they're building, but they're putting tools in people's hands to be builders as well who haven't been educated on how to be a builder. And what does all this mean when you click go or when you open that like computer usage up in a different way?
That's right. That's very right. You are, I would say, I said again, you're about to launch publicly. Timing is strategic.
Mhm.
Looking ahead, 12 to 18 months, what does success realistically look like for TwinWise?
So realistically, for us is that would be full saturation across every market would be the biggest success. But where I really look at success for TwinWise is that what we've been able to do is we've been able to change the conversation. That's success for us, where people are not asking, well, what's the faster model? What's the bigger model? They're asking, what's the better end result? What's the better experience for a person? What is able to bring humanity closer together? And I think when you build AI faster and faster and faster, you take more humanity out of it, and that will be the bad end game. Whereas what we're doing is we're putting more and more and more humanity into the product, into the process, and into the experience. And one of the things I was very worried about when we started in on having like the cognitive API and bringing twins together was that people might not talk to each other anymore. It's like, well, if I can talk to your twin and it's nicer and faster and easier, then why? But what what we've realized is that the way that we built our product is that it's the opposite. It's actually brought people closer together because they're able to get over that friction point faster and with more clarity.
Yeah.
One of the things that we did with the twins is we broke the black box. So a twin is kind of glass box technology. As you use your twin over the first like weeks and months, every response that you get back, after that response, you also receive an understanding of every assumption that was made along the process to make that first prediction. All of that unknown before the AI starts, we're able to present back to you right there. And when you're able to see that, not only for yourself, one, when you're using your own twin, you know exactly what it's thinking, you feel validated, you understand what you're thinking, you can see that reflected. If you're not like 100% in alignment, you know why. And it's just about having a conversation. Now you get that with another person. When I get the explanation of like, oh, well, this is what Laurent really meant. And then I get the reflection on this is what was really happening and thinking and potentially even like feeling under there. It brings us closer together without the awkwardness of maybe having to do that interpersonal, but we feel closer after. And that's what I've seen in the team. And that's what I see in our beta testers as well, when we've started to move into this aspect of the cognitive API and having them stitch into a different one of our tools or trying one of our guides in a way. And so that's a place where if you're building an AI and you're building with observation and not assumption, you learn more about what it can do. And that's what we've done by taking our time over this year. We've built with intention by learning from that experience. So we are our own success story. Right? What do we want in success? I want any other company to be able to operate at the speed of thought. I want any individual to be able to learn anything or have any conversation or step into any area feeling at least more prepared and more confident in who they are and what they can do. And I want people to be able to grow in whatever way they want. And I think that's important. With AI coming in and specializing in areas, we need to embrace like our multidisciplinary backgrounds. We need to stop trying to like put ourselves into a job description where, we fit that plus these other 40 things that you try to like make sense. No, I want to hire somebody by their experience and who they are, not like if they fit each one of these requirements. And that's where the world's going to go. I think that's the biggest opportunity. So is there going to be like job shift? Absolutely. But how much you're taking control of your future and expanding that is going to result on how that affects you and how you roll with that and how you grow with it. And so that's why we're coming to market now as well. We know those changes are on the horizon for 2027. Disruption of the current system is already happening, but building of the next one is still unknown. And that's our focus. That's success. Can we build the next economy of intelligence that's not in the same way business operates now?
That's just awesome.
Fingers.
What are you what are you deliberately not doing right now?
We are deliberately, well, a lot actually. So we have a policy. We know what we're focused on. So as a venture studio, we have our ventures. TwinWise is that. So if it's not about a twin, if it's not about the cognitive API, if it's not about democratizing that experience, then that's not what we build. We have build, buy, hack. So is it twin or cognitive API or something on them? Then we should build it. Is it their data and their privacy? Then we may want to build it or own a layer. If it's not that and we can buy that and it's AI, we will. We're a fully AI native company, not AI efficient. So we will leverage anything else that we know how to and works with our systems and can benefit that in that way. But if it doesn't fit those or a user's privacy is like at risk in there, then we hack. And a hack is not like, oh, this is bad. What we're doing is we're on an investor timeline. So we know that we can build it to what we need, but that's not going to be built for scale. And so we can do that buy when we're funded and we can build for now. And those are the places where we look at that only on, is it secure? Is it ethical? Is it legal? Is the privacy there? And if it breaks, can we buy that other solution immediately just in case? And so that's always our policy on what are we doing. And so we even did a big pivot was it March? Yeah, 2 months ago. And we decided, you know what? We're going to stop building our own backend. That's not our job. That's not what we're building. Our API, our orchestration, the layer in between on that, amazingly. Perfect. Yes, that's what we need to focus on. But the actual backend and all of that, that became a secondary stream that was therefore delaying other aspects of build. And so we had to make that big decision. We could have continued, we could be on a consumer launch right now, but it wouldn't be as great an experience and we know as safe and scalable as we need. And so knowing where to invest and where not to invest and the build by hack it was hard for us to get there. But once we got there and we had those limitations, like that's very clear. And so I'd say in the busy AI market, if you have that solution, focus on that solution. The other infrastructure can be built, can be replaced, can be proxied, can be bought.
Great. If adoption happens faster than expected, what scales first?
You mean in terms of the verticals?
Yeah, your
So
adoption. Yeah, yeah.
uh, consumer will always scale a little faster than enterprise or business on that side, because
No.
any business partner we use, their employees will come to our consumer platform to create their twin, because we have not only your knowledge as an expert, but your very sensitive cognition. And a company does not own that. I'm sorry. That is not theirs. They do not have rights to that. They should not have visibility into the things that really make you the underlying you. That's for you, that's for your therapist, and for your twin. That's about it.
Mhm.
So consumer will always be a little bit ahead because we build for the individual. We want a twin is about continuity. So if you change workforce, you should be able to retain that sensitive part and relaunch your twin in another business with their less sensitive side of that aspect. So consumer and business go in there, but as I said, we have 5 verticals. The verticals build on each other. Enterprise wouldn't make sense if there wasn't consumer. We're building towards a marketplace of on-demand rentable intelligence through like consensual predefined use cases. That doesn't make sense to anyone if they can't go and say, oh, okay, you do this for people. Oh, and you do it for businesses. Oh, this is people with mini business problems. So we may not have something that scales over another, but we may push something a little bit further first because it will accelerate the scale of the next. And so that's how we've set up all of our launches by design. Every launch grows from the last. So if we need to slow one part, it doesn't slow the whole timeline. It just adjusts how much we need to prepare to bootstrap in the next one.
Okay. If you could give your earlier self one instruction before starting TwinWise, what would it be?
Ooh, you should have sent me this earlier. I would have asked my twin. Uh,
Yes, that's true.
um, I think I think it's one thing I've learned along the way, and one thing I've heard from other founders and others is, you have to prepare for the unexpected. But I treat it kind of like DIY at my house. Like we have a fixer upper, and I learned early on in the first year of home ownership that any project will take 50% longer, and 3 things are guaranteed to go wrong. And I realize in business, especially when growing a new company, that is the same. And so I learned very early on is um, I'm a like beyond horizon thinker. I don't want to just think like what's 6 or 12. I go what's 3, 6, 12, 18, 36. Like I'm going to look around the corner. And so it's a superpower. It's also a hindrance to me at times. But if I pause when we make big strategic plans and I look at what are those points that I'm already seeing, and I note those, then I've set out all of the branch decisions for when something does come up. And that's made the difference. So I think the advice I would give myself is, prepare for the unexpected by just being prepared for the next 2 decisions. If you can know what the next 2 decisions might be, or at least scope out what they look like, it's not about failing forward. It's about moving forward while scaling upward. And that's where we always look at it is if this doesn't work, what else do we do? Like nobody submits a proposal on tooling without saying, what is the phase 2 of this? Is this scaling? Or are we buying something else? Or are we building it? If we don't know what the second step is, we don't start the first one. And I think that's advice I would give anybody that's starting a company, especially in the AI or the technology startup space, is know what not your next decision, but the one is after that. And if you don't know that, pause and ask. Like talk to other people around you, talk to other founders, get advice, get mentors, read LinkedIn inside and out. But you need to know what are the next 2 decisions.
Very wise. I love it. Awesome. Darwin, thank you so much for joining. It was, I have no word, a strong insight into your journey, your category thinking, your wisdom, and the work you're building at TwinWise. Uh, wish I, and thank you so much for your time. It was great.
Absolutely, Laurent. More than happy to take the time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Then where do people can find you or read about your work?
Yeah. So if you want to go to LinkedIn, you can just search for TwinWise, one word, TwinWise. We have lots of different articles on our tenants, our ethics, all of the different things that go into there as well. We also have announcements for our launches and things as they roll out. And if people are interested and you want to sign up for the consumer launch, you can just go to our website, twinwise.io, and just click right there and go ahead and sign up. We already have people on our wait list for the last 6 months, and we will start that rolling people out and taking them off the wait list as we launch through. So get in there now. And as always, like, the first month is free. We want you to see the value of it. And so for anybody that's a skeptic or something, come over. You'll at least get to learn more about yourself. That I can guarantee.
Wonderful. I love it. Thank you, Darwin. Thank you. Thank you. It was great.
Thanks, Laurent. You have a lovely day. Talk soon.
And that's it for today's episode of AI Interconnect. And if you enjoy it, share it with someone who's building the future, or better yet, someone who should be. And until next time, stay curious, stay creative, and keep building. Thank you, Darwin. See you very soon.
Thanks, Laurent.